Hey everyone, welcome back. So it looks like a lot of you are really interested in learning more about gold IRAs, especially how they can be used for charitable giving.
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic for sure.
Totally. And honestly, it was for us too. We had a listener write in and specifically request a deep dive, and they pointed us to this article called Charitable Foundation Planning with Gold IRAs, Strategic Philanthropy for Wealthy Retirees.
Hmm, interesting title.
Right. I know. So we thought, okay, let's dive in and see what we can uncover.
Definitely a good call. It's super relevant right now with all the uncertainty in the markets.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people are understandably concerned about, retirement security. But with the market volatility and inflation and all that, makes sense to look for ways to protect what you've saved, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's where gold comes in, right? The article kind of positions it as this safe haven. Historically, gold has this reputation for holding its value, especially during times of economic turmoil.
Yeah. It's definitely seen as a hedge against inflation.
Okay, so let's get to the basics. What exactly is a gold IRA? To be honest, before this whole deep dive thing, I was a little fuzzy on the details. Like, yeah, it involves gold, obviously, but that's about it.
Right. Well, think of it this way. It's like a traditional IRA, the kind you're probably familiar with, but instead of having stocks and bonds in there, you're holding precious metals,
Hmm.
like actual physical gold, silver, platinum.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just like a digital representation of gold or something. It's like real bars of gold.
Got it. Well, not necessarily bars. It could be coins, too.
Yeah,
Or even palladium. But yeah, you're actually holding those precious metals within your IRA.
that's pretty cool. I have to admit, I always pictured like a vault full of gold bars, which, to be fair, is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But having the option for other metals, that's even better. So how does this whole thing actually work?
Well, it's actually not as complicated as you might think. You can actually roll over funds from an existing IRA or 401k into a gold IRA. And then you work with a provider to buy those IRS-approved precious metals, and those get held within your account. And get this, you still get all those sweet tax advantages, just like a traditional IRA. So your investments can grow tax deferred.
Okay, so we've got tax benefits A&D, a chance to own actual precious metals. It's already sounding pretty good.
Yeah.
But why would someone choose a gold IRA over, say, a regular IRA? Like, what's the real benefit?
Right. Good question. So the article lays out four key benefits. And the first one is inflation protection. Remember how we were talking about how inflation can really chip away at your purchasing power over time?
Yeah.
Well, gold, historically, it tends to go UP in value when the dollar weakens. So it kind of acts like a buffer against that.
Right, right. But do you have any, like, real-world examples of this in action? Because sometimes, these financial concepts can feel a bit, I don't know, theoretical.
Sure, sure. So the article actually brings up this really interesting case study. It talks about this couple, the Smiths. They're in their 60s and were super concerned about inflation, eating away at their retirement savings. So what do? They put a portion of their savings into a gold IRA. And guess what? They actually stayed ahead of rising costs.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just like a hypothetical thing.
hmm
This can actually make a real difference for people. That's awesome. Now, the article also mentioned something about diversification as a benefit, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's the second big one.
Okay.
And that's where things get really strategic. Gold doesn't move in the same way as stocks and bonds. Actually, it often goes in the opposite direction.
Really?
Yeah. So let's say the stock market takes a hit for whatever reason. Gold could actually hold its value or even go up during that same period. So it's like a counterbalance to your portfolio.
Yeah.
It helps smooth out those returns over time.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the potential for, financial gain,
hmm
but also having that kind of psychological comfort of owning something tangible, something that feels secure, especially when the markets are going crazy.
Mm.
But isn't gold itself, like, volatile? Doesn't it fluctuate in value?
Right. Yeah, good point. Gold prices do go up and down in the short term,
Yeah.
for sure. But the article really emphasizes its long-term stability.
Okay.
Think about it. Unlike stocks, which are affected by, company performance and like overall market sentiment, gold has this inherent value that's tied to its limited supply and also its use in a ton of different industries.
hmm
So it's that long-term perspective that matters most for, well, retirement planning.
So it's about playing the long game, right? Not getting caught up in those day-to-day fluctuations, but looking at those long-term trends. I can see how that would be really appealing, especially for someone planning for retirement.
Yeah.
So what's the third benefit the article talks about?
Tax advantages.
Ah, yeah.
One of the big perks of a gold IRA is that it offers tax-deferred growth. Your investments compound over time, but you don't have to pay taxes on those gains right away.
Or-
It's like letting your money grow in this nice protected environment until you actually need it in retirement.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
And speaking of retirement, that brings us to that fourth benefit, which is wealth preservation, right?
Yeah.
And I have to say that's the one that really grabbed my attention.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's about making sure that all your hard-earned money actually lasts throughout your retirement and, maybe even gets passed down to future generations.
Right.
And gold, unlike, paper assets, it has this tangible quality to it. It's been holding its value for, well, centuries, so it's less likely to be impacted by, say, an economic downturn or even, changes in government policies.
It's like owning a piece of history,
Right.
something that's weathered all those storms. But I bet there are people out there who are a little skeptical of gold IRAs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it does sound a bit, I don't know, unconventional.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are definitely some misconceptions floating around out there. And the article, it does a good job of addressing those head on. Like one of the big ones is that gold IRAs are difficult to manage.
I can see how people might think that, yeah.
But honestly, once you've found a reputable provider, the process is pretty straightforward. They help you with, rolling over your funds, buying the metals, even ongoing support. It's like having a partner to help you navigate it all.
Okay, so it's not as intimidating as it might sound at first. But what about the volatility thing? I mean, we were just talking about how gold prices can fluctuate. Doesn't that contradict the whole, stability argument?
Right, right. But remember, it's about the long-term perspective.
Okay.
The short-term swings, those definitely happen, but it's the long game that really counts, especially for retirement. The article makes it clear that gold's value, it's intrinsically tied to those, inherent properties and that limited supply. It's just not as susceptible to those big dramatic swings we often see in the stock market.
Okay, so again, focusing on the forest and not the trees. Looking at those long-term trends and not, panicking over those little blips along the way.
Mm.
Is there anything else that tends to make people hesitate?
Well, there's also this myth that gold IRAs are only for like the super rich.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
It's like, you need to be a millionaire to even think about it. But honestly, anyone who can open a traditional IRA can open a gold IRA. It's really about diversifying,
Mhm.
adding that layer of stability, that tangible asset to your portfolio. And it can be tailored to your individual situation, whatever you're comfortable investing.
Okay, so more accessible than people think, but how do you even know who to trust with something as valuable as gold? Like, choosing the right provider seems like it would be pretty crucial.
Totally. And the article has some good tips on this.
Okay.
It really stresses the importance of doing your homework. Looking into the providers, their reputation, their fees, what kind of customer support they offer, what kind of educational resources they have. You want someone who's transparent, knowledgeable, someone who's really invested in helping you reach your financial goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like any other big investment.
Exactly.
Do your due diligence, find someone you trust, someone who gets you.
Right. And that actually brings us back to where we started, to our listeners' initial question. How do gold IRAs connect to charitable giving? This is where it gets really fascinating, especially for those of you who, are passionate about giving back.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me more about this. How does a gold IRA actually fit into, like, the whole philanthropy world?
So you can actually work a gold IRA right into your estate plan, so it benefits your chosen charities.
Okay.
It's like creating a legacy that goes on, even after you're gone. It makes sure your values continue to make a difference out there in the world.
Wow. So like a portion of my gold IRA, or even like all of it, could go to supporting causes I care about, even after, well,
Exactly.
that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. It's about making sure your financial legacy aligns with, your passions. The article talks about this other couple, the Johnsons. They wanted to make sure their kids were taken care of financially, but also wanted to support their favorite charities. And a gold IRA, it helped them do both.
Wow. That's really inspiring. It's like finding this way to make your money work for, both your personal and your philanthropic goals.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot so far about gold IRAs, from debunking those myths to those benefits, even how they can be used for charitable giving. I'm curious to know what you're thinking out there. What are your initial thoughts? Are gold IRAs something you might consider?
Mm.
What questions are popping into your head?
Yeah, take a minute and think about what really resonates with you. What questions do you have? And how might this all play into your own financial journey, your own philanthropic journey?
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to keep going with this. We're going to dive even deeper into gold IRAs and charitable giving. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody. So before the break, we were talking about how gold IRAs can be a really cool way to not only preserve your wealth, but also leave a legacy, through charitable giving. And all with this asset, gold, that has this incredible track record of holding its value over centuries.
Yeah, we touched on how you can even pass gold down to future generations, but I'm kind of curious, how does that inheritance thing actually work with a gold IRA? Is it different from a traditional IRA?
Oh, that's a great question, and the article actually talks about this. And the good news is it's pretty straightforward. Basically, when you pass away, the person you've named as your beneficiary, they inherit the assets in your gold IRA, just like with a regular IRA. So, it's really important to have all that spelled out in your estate plan, just to make sure everything goes smoothly and according to your wishes.
Right, right. Okay, so it's like passing on a piece of financial security, a legacy to your loved ones. But what about charitable giving? Can you leave a gold IRA to a charity?
Absolutely. You can totally designate a charity as the beneficiary of your gold IRA. You can even choose to give a portion of it or the whole thing. It's really up to you.
That's amazing. So it's like ensuring that your values, they live on and make a positive impact even after you're gone. That's a really beautiful way to connect your financial legacy with your philanthropic side. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. It's about, making your wealth work for the causes that matter most to you. And the article suggests that this strategy can be especially impactful with gold because of its history and its inherent value.
This whole gold IRA thing, it's really got me thinking about my own retirement planning. I've always, kind of stuck with the traditional IRAs and 401ks. But this idea of having gold in the mix, especially with that charitable giving angle,
Yeah.
that's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, it's definitely worth exploring, especially if you're looking for, diversification and that sense of security.
Mhm.
Gold, with its tangibility and its performance over time, it can be a really powerful addition to your overall financial plan.
But I imagine are some tax implications to think about when someone inherits a gold IRA, right? Whether it's a loved one or a charity.
Yeah, you're right. The tax stuff with inherited IRAs, including gold IRAs, can be a little complicated. There are a lot of factors to consider, like the type of IRA, the relationship between the beneficiary and the person who passed away, even the current tax laws. All of that comes into play.
So it's not like a one size fits all kind of thing, huh? Sounds like you really need to understand the details to make sure you're making the right choices.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to talk to a qualified financial advisor or a tax professional, someone who can give you personalized advice based on your unique situation. They can help you navigate all the ins and outs and make sure that the decisions you're making are both financially sound and tax efficient.
That's really great advice.
Yeah.
When it comes to something as important as planning for retirement and building a legacy, having a trusted expert on your side, that's invaluable. This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about. But before we move on, I want to hear from you. What are your initial thoughts on gold IRAs? Do you see them as a potential fit for your own retirement and philanthropic goals? What are you most curious about?
Yeah, we encourage you to take a moment, just reflect on what really resonates with you. What questions do you have? What areas would you like to dig into a little deeper? Remember, this is about giving you the power to take control of your financial future, to make choices that align with your values and your hopes for the future.
We're going to be back in a sec to continue this conversation, so stick with us as we keep exploring the world of gold IRAs. And we're back. It's been quite a journey exploring these gold IRAs, hasn't it? From how they can help safeguard your savings to their potential role in supporting those causes close to your heart. It's pretty amazing how one financial tool can tackle both of big aspects of life.
It really does show you that you can plan for your finances, in a way that thinks about the whole picture, the whole you. You're not just looking out for yourself, you're also thinking about the legacy you want to leave, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And we've talked about some of the key things to think about, right? Like making sure you pick the right provider,
Mm.
wrapping your head around those tax implications, and how gold IRAs can fit into, into your overall estate plan.
Yeah, because when you're dealing with something as important as retirement and what you're leaving behind, making informed decisions, that's critical. It's all about giving you the knowledge you need to make choices that truly reflect what you value and what you hope for the future.
Absolutely. Now, from your perspective, as an expert who's really dug into all this information, what what stands out to you as the most, I don't know, compelling part of these gold IRAs? What makes them, particularly relevant in today's world, today's economy?
For me, it's how they tap into this growing desire for something real, something tangible in a world that feels like it's increasingly uncertain. Think about it. We've got all this rapid technology, shifting global politics, those unpredictable markets, and gold with its inherent value and its track record of resilience. It offers this sense of security, this hedge against all that uncertainty. It's like a grounding force in your portfolio, you
Oh,
know.
that makes a lot of sense. It's like having a piece of history, something that's proven itself over and over again, right there in your financial plan. It's not swayed by the ups and downs of the market or the political winds.
Exactly. And when you add in those tax advantages, the possibility of supporting those charities you believe in, well, gold IRAs become even more attractive for folks who want to both protect their wealth and make a positive impact on the world. It's like this financial tool that reflects both your practical side and your generous side.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to new ways to approach retirement planning and giving back. It's made me want to think more strategically, more holistically, about how my financial choices can really reflect what I believe in and help build a better future, both for myself and the causes that I support.
And that's exactly what we're aiming for with these deep dives, to spark that curiosity, to give you some insightful information and to empower you to make informed choices that shape a brighter future for you and for everyone around you.
Before we wrap up our exploration of gold IRAs and all their potential for charitable giving, I want to leave you with one last thought, something to really chew on. Given everything we've uncovered today, that stability of gold, those tax advantages, the chance to create a legacy of giving, is a gold IRA something you might consider exploring further, as a part of your overall financial and philanthropic plan.
It's a question worth thinking about, definitely. We encourage you to keep learning about this, to talk to trusted financial advisors, and to really see if a gold IRA aligns with your own personal circumstances and those long-term goals you've set for yourself. Because knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this complex world of finance and create a future that truly reflects what you value.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative, maybe even inspiring. And remember, stay curious and keep diving deep into those topics that matter most to you.